What did your postpartum regime look like?
You're really hormonal postpartum. This is life.
I'm thinking, what's going on? Why am I crying? This is crazy.
You don't have to be strong.
Breastfeeding versus bottle feeding.
Papaya can cause difficulty in organogenesis. I educate them that this is a fizzy drink. Big people who are not intelligent, they have it.
There is a rising rate right now, especially in India, for optional C-section.
A lot of medical practitioners promote it because it is bigger amount of money. Nobody can tell a woman gain weight or lose weight.
Welcome to another episode of The Fix by CurryFit, where we discuss all things nutrition and fitness. We have a very special guest here with us today, who's one of the 50 most influential people in Dubai. Sana Sajan, thank you so much for having us in your wonderful home.
Thank you for joining. I'm really excited about this.
So today we're going to talk about postpartum fitness, and I think it's a topic that's very personal to you and it's personal to myself as well. You're a mom of 3. I'm sure you have a very busy schedule as well. What started your postpartum fitness journey?
So correction, I'm a mom of 3 of my kids, but there are other kids in this house, the adult kids. So we have Adil's grandma, Adil's dad and mom, and Adil. So they are my bigger kids. And then, yes, I have given birth to 3 kids as well.
Yes, we all have big kids and small kids. I think the big kids are harder than the small kids.
So they often ask me that which kid is the most difficult one.
My mother-in-law.
My mother-in-laws.
I'm sure each time, did you start a routine after each delivery, or was it something that you did after your 3rd child? How did this go about?
Something very interesting. I've always been a very fit person. I have been into sports since school, been the sports captain, following my elder sister's footsteps, and was very proud. And somehow I was very blessed with a good genetic structure as well. So my muscular structure was good, bones were good, no known issues with the health. Once I got married and I got pregnant, until 7th month, I felt like I don't need to work out or do anything. I was just taking a break from fitness, to be honest. And I was really having a gala time. And I was really, really sure because I've been so fit and I was having a few yoga things and, pre-delivery exercises. So I was just sure that I'm going to have a normal vaginal delivery.
Okay.
But it turned out that we had to go for an emergency C-section. And I was just not prepared for it, mentally and physically. And because of that, there was supposed to be a 6 months gap for me to start my fitness, and it is given by the doctor. The C-section is not an easy thing which the body goes through. So that was something which was like a lightning strike on me because I have never been out of fitness for such a long time. And when you gain weight, that's when you want to really bounce back. So those things really went into my head. But I made sure that every time I had a baby, I went back to my fitness regime whenever the doctor permitted, and I went back full throttle.
There is a major difference between a C-section and a normal vaginal delivery. I recently read that they cut through 7 layers to get the baby out. And of course, it takes so much longer to recover.
Especially because it's abdominal and your abs, which is the core, it's a part of every exercise, right? So if you want to get back into your workout regime, some people say they went back earlier, but I wanted to really take precaution as per what the doctor was saying because I knew that I would go full throttle in my workouts. But the fun thing is, I could not really empathize or sympathize with myself because every woman does it.
Yeah.
And we're all back on our tracks again. So that's the fun part that I could not really say, oh my God, I went through such a big operation and I had to bounce back. So that sympathizing was just not there in my own head because my mom did it, your mom did it, you did it, I did it, my sisters and my friends, and the entire world does it. Yeah. And we women are so strong, we just don't even flinch.
We really are. So I remember as soon as my son was born, this is the 2nd time around, not the first. The first, I was a big baby. But the 2nd time around, he needed to be taken to the NICU immediately when he was born. He had low blood sugar. When they were taking my baby and walking away, there was this instinct. I just got up, I stood up and I started walking behind. And my husband said, get back in the bed before somebody sees you because you need to bed. It's
maternal instinct.
And I think we don't know what we're capable of as women.
Until we go through it.
Until we go through it.
It's hilarious.
It
They
is.
bring us up like these baby princesses and oh, so fragile, but no, we're not. We're warrior princesses.
Yeah. And you really don't know what you're capable of until you've gone through the process and done that, right? So what did your postpartum, like once you started, what did your postpartum regime look like?
First thing first, if you have your basics right, that you need to have the right amount of calories, the right amount of proteins and carbs, of course, in the right balance. That's the first thing. And of course, there is the right amount of rest in between. So all of that balance was one thing that I always had it on mind and my basics were clear. So I made sure I was doing that. But there was one challenge every time in between the kids and after as well, at least until 6 to 8 to 9 months. While I was breastfeeding, that the challenge was rest, because you don't really get the right amount of sleep. And sleep, I would say, it contributes 50% to all the health recovery. So that was my biggest challenge. But having said that, if there is one big challenge which you cannot really overcome because you have better things to do, which is taking care of your newborn, you have to do the other things right. So I made sure that my nutrition was in place and I was taking the right amount of water, my multivitamins, and the bottle guard, because Loki is something which is a galactagogue. So certain foods, they are galactagogues. So it is good to have that and include that, like makhanas. So they are really good. They are rich in calcium and they're really good for breast milk and nutrition, you know. So it's good for the mom, and whatever is good for the mom is good for the baby as well.
I remember my mom used to make me Loki juice. She's just like, not juice, just blend up the Loki with the pulp and with everything in the morning to
It's
sort
really
of
good. It's light
kickstart.
on the stomach.
Yeah.
But we have to also keep in mind raw Loki juice, it is also a blood pressure lowering agent.
Oh.
Ayurvedically, it really drops your blood pressure. So you have to be careful when and how you're having it and in what quantities.
That's good to know, actually. It's always great to have a good support system around you to help you through the process.
And a
to-
positive mindset.
Correct.
Because you know what happens? You're really hormonal postpartum.
Yeah.
Immediately and also a little bit prolonged. No matter what you say, it is a physiological phenomena that it is happening where you are filled with so many hormones and suddenly after birth, they're all taking a dip and your body is confused and your mind's furthermore confused at what's going on. So when that happens, one self-awareness, one physiological awareness, and a little bit of practice of control while discussion with the family members that this might happen. So please don't feel bad, you know, so
Yes.
that education is also really crucial. So all of those things, if you keep together in mind, it helps.
It does. I think it would be really nice during your baby classes, etc., when they teach you how to take care of your newborn. I think it would be really helpful if women got that information of what happens to you as well, because it is the fourth trimester, right? They call it the fourth
Correct.
trimester, where your hormones dip. There's a lot of changes going on with your body. There's a lot of things going on. They train you on how to care for a newborn, and they train you on what happens when the newborn comes, and they give you breastfeeding tips and all of that. But I think there's so much more to
For
be
yourself.
known
Everyone
for
forgets the
yourself.
mom.
Everyone forgets the mom. Yes, there's so much,
Including us.
including us. Yeah, I think some of the things to remember is you will feel unreasonable. There are moments when you feel like crying and you don't know why you want to cry, because that's all the hormonal changes happening.
The fun thing is, when you said about this, so I knew that this happened. When it happened, I was crying and I was laughing at the same time because I knew this is my hormones and I'm just laughing and crying and my husband's just like, what's wrong with you?
The moment that this happened, I was in the shower and the water is just like dripping off of me, and I feel tears
Yeah,
welling up in
it's
my
hilarious.
eyes. It's hilarious. And I'm thinking, what's going on? Why am I crying? This is crazy. And I'm just standing in the shower, and I called out to my mom and I said, Mom, I'm crying. She said, why? I said, I don't know.
Aw.
She said, it's going to be fine. It's fine. Just get out of the shower. You'll be fine.
She's like, don't be the drama. We've all been through it.
Yeah.
You know, so this is what I'm talking about. That I was laughing because I had educated myself and reminded myself that this is going to happen. And then you enjoy the journey.
Yes.
Even if there is pain, even if there is some other issue, if you know and you're aware, you're prepared.
Correct.
So how to combat it so it doesn't have further negative impact on you. So this is my approach towards life as well.
Be informed.
And be
Definitely.
prepared.
Be prepared.
As much as you can be.
Yes.
And also, you know, one of the recent talks I was just talking about, sometimes you don't have to be strong. It's okay. Enjoy crying.
Yeah. Definitely. I think I heard that in one of the other podcasts, you mentioned that the reason for you embarking on this fitness journey is your kids. Can you elaborate on that?
It's something interesting. You would probably agree to it. Before my marriage and before my kids, I was a big adrenaline junkie. I mean, I still ride horses, but I'm not allowed to ride motorbikes. But I've jumped off planes a few times and taken my husband also after that a few times, and all the impossible jumps and stuff. And since I've got kids, I'm back to my fitness, but I'm not going back to those adventure sports because I now value myself. The reason being, my kids need me, and this is my love for them. So I want to be there for them, but I also want to be there in my fitness so I am not a burden on them in the short run or the long run. So that's in concise, I could say, because if I have these little toddlers running around and they want to come in my godi, what will I do? I want to take them, and then if I take them and my back is hurting, come on, like it's not exactly the same fun. When you're fitter and you can carry both or three of them all together, that's just another fun level.
They also mirror what we do as parents. I think we set an example for them. What I'm eating, how I conduct myself, or if I'm going to the gym or I'm working out. Like when I leave for the gym in the morning, my kids say, "Oh, you're going to the gym?" They know my routine. They know this is what I do every day. And there are times when I come home and they say, "Can you show me how to do this?" And they wanna try doing a push up.
It's so cute.
They wanna
It's
do
amazing.
yoga.
I woke up today and Amara was getting ready for Danube's post-world. So today she was wearing like really gym attire. She had these slacks on and her green Puma t-shirt on. And then when she saw me 7:30 in the morning, she ran to me, "Mommy, I'm going to the gym." She was so excited that she's going to the gym because they're mimicking.
Correct.
And I mean, a lot of people feel surprised, but my kids' favorite thing is to have broccoli and carrot. They love it.
Yeah, my daughter's the same way.
They love it.
It's what she'll tell everybody. You ask her what's her favorite vegetable, she'll say broccoli. And people look at her like, "Are you lying?" But she's not. She really likes.
It's amazing.
Yeah, she likes broccoli. We don't have unhealthy, I wouldn't even say snacks in our pantry. It's not there. Everything is made. We make it together. We enjoy baking together. So they know what's going in. They know what they're eating. It's conditioning.
I believe this is what life is. If this is my life, I want the same thing for my kids. So this is what their life is, so that the other unhealthy things will look weird to them.
Correct.
While people often say, "Oh, are you on a diet?" No, this is my food.
Correct.
This is me.
This is how I live.
You know, and oh, you work out. How long do you want to keep your abs? For life. You know, it's just so funny. So the same thing for kids, conditioning, as you say. So when we all live the same lifestyle, it reverberates. In fact, now I'm just so happy and really proud that my husband goes, of course, to the gym. My mother-in-law goes to the gym. My mom goes to the gym. My sisters, we are 4 sisters, and their kids go to the gym. I just feel amazing. And my kids here, they do yoga and go to the gymnastic class, of course, the sports. So this is something that if I am practicing what I'm preaching, it has to go into around your environment as well.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's for everyone's good.
It is. It really is. I had a comment on one of our reels where we were discussing about sugar and all that it does to your body. And someone commented saying, you know, you shouldn't be talking about sugar like this. Your mom fed you sugar. You ate sugar all your life. You had Complan, Horlicks, this, that. You grew up. And now you're going against sugar.
Do they even read what they write?
No, I don't think so. But the point is that, yes, we did. We did consume a lot of sugar when we were younger. There was Complan, there was Bonvita, Horlicks, all of these. But that was because that was advertised as healthy to them.
So the last 30 years have not been the best, because they were very commercial years, and there was a lot of canned food and a lot of commercial products with a lot of chemicals which came into the world and into the population to make money. And that's another topic altogether to discuss, with all the toxins which have gone and, you know, gotten embedded in our bodies along with those chemicals and those flavorings. And the impacts on the people's neurodivergences on it. Yes, we have gone through it, but do we want to transfer it to our kids?
Exactly.
So if we have got an epiphany now, I would rather fix it.
Like, I don't want my kids to grow up tomorrow and feel like they have to make a change in their life. You know what? Where we reached a point where he said, okay, this has to stop. I need a change. I need to eat healthier. I need to start working out. It had to come to that point,
Yes.
right? But what if this is life for them? This is
life.
normal.
This is very
right?
life. Yeah.
So
I
it's not
agree.
some-
One of my friends taught me this. Not now, it was around 8 or 10 years ago. We were just chilling and I was really loving the burger from the commercial McDonald's place at that time. I was really crazy about it. And that was my indulgence, okay? And I used to have a big, large Fanta or Mirinda, whatever comes with it, and used to really love that whole combination. So my friend told me that, she doesn't like having aerated drinks. I'm like, oh, yeah, but she said, because until when I was growing up, her parents, they did not ever give them fizzy drinks. And then they did not develop a taste. And that was a point which I kept with me, that when my kids will be there, I want to do that. So my kids have not had McDonald's chicken nuggets. They all have homemade chicken nuggets, or they've not had any fizzy drinks, but they're still very young. My eldest is 6 years old, but they don't have any fizzy drinks. There are times when other people are having it. So they ask, what is this? So I educate them that this is a fizzy drink and it is not healthy. So they ask me, so do big people have it? I say, yes. Big people who are not intelligent, they have it. And we are intelligent people. If you want to try, I will make you try when you're older, but it is not healthy. So now they know also the meanings of healthy. I really talk to them as grown-ups, and it should be something very understood in their genes. So that communication is really essential.
Yes, definitely. I think as parents, you should be honest with your children. A lot of people say that they're not old enough, and you make up stories. Oh, this is a different type of juice, and it's not for you, etc. But they're going to find out eventually, some way or the other, what it is. So it's always better
However
to
best
give
you
them,
can convey.
however best you can, with the information that is okay to let them know, definitely. Let's go back to postpartum. What would your meals look like generally?
To start with, as I said, my calories were counted, because if you want to lose a kilo a week, you need to be negative 500 kcal. This is the basic rule. Because I knew this, I made sure that I eliminated the major carbs, and I did keep a few healthy carbs in that food, like very good brown bread, which was very healthy, homemade or something, or maybe some sourdough, which was somehow, I used to also find gluten-free made products. And
Oats, quinoa.
a little bit of it, yes. A balanced mix, because a little variety is always fun. Although, to be honest, I have to confess, you can give me the same meal every day and I'm okay with it.
Oh, wow.
So I think it's a confession that I'm not a very big foodie. If you give me good food, I will thank God and praise and then eat it. But even if you give me wood to eat, I would eat it. Because I do not live to eat. I appreciate great and good and basic food which is provided to us. And I think this is one of the biggest things for me that helps me achieve, because I'm not a slave. And the more people think they are slaves, oh, I can't live without rasmalai, or oh, I can't live without chaat and dahi puri, they are saying it and feeding it into their heads. Honestly, we are not, and we can survive very well. And occasionally, if you want to treat yourself and if you really want to savor it, you can. So for me, coming back to the point, it was good for me and easy for me to remove those extra carbs and the right amount of proteins. And somehow I made sure that I am 500 kcal less every week. Initially, it was actually really easy for me to lose weight because there's a lot of water weight. So I lost 6 kilos every month in the initial months. But after around 15 kilos gone, where I was 92, 93 kilos, it used to come to a stagnation. And that was really frustrating. But you know that if you go the right way and you continue, it will also help you and you will break this, what you call a plateau.
Yes.
Right? So you just have to continue with the food, with the exercise.
Stay consistent.
Yes, consistency is really the key. People don't understand how important health is, and they will work hard for their projects at work or anything if they want to, gain money for example, materialistic things. But they don't realize that this health is something so important that if you keep this as a goal, the rest of it will follow.
Yes.
Or the other way around, if you don't keep this as a goal, you will lose the other things as well, because your health will be at a compromise. So anyway, I kept that in mind. So I used to keep a limited calorie count for the day. and made sure that right amount of proteins are there, right amount of roughage is there, because you need to treat your gut.
Yes,
Right?
definitely.
So many details in our conversation, but you can understand because
Yeah,
you're
of
the
course.
specialist on it. And water. Water is so important, that the right amount of water during the day at the right time is like essential. So I had the right amount of water. While breastfeeding, how important water is, is just essential. So all of that, and however I could manage, at least in the initial months, to manage to rest, because I knew that I can't get the right amount of sleep. That was the only compromise, but it was worth it because I was feeding my baby at that time. But I tried to balance the other things.
As a mom who also works, how do you manage it all? Manage kids and this working, staying on top of your fitness routine as well. Because it is a balance. It is a very tight balance to have where you have to be committed to a routine, a schedule, etc., to make it work for yourself. How do you play all these roles?
Like I said earlier, this is my life. Being healthy is not an effort. This is how I've trained my life, my body, my staff, my family, that this is life. So 1 hour of gym is not something that I'm thinking of an extra effort. Eating the right amount of calories or salad first is not something as an effort. It is just my system now. So then it doesn't become or look like an effort or feel like an effort.
So how long did it take for it to become a system? Was it always a system?
Honestly, I'm human too. And there are times when I'm really hungry, I try not to be really, really hungry before my food. I try to eat a little bit before that so that I don't gobble down the carbs first. Because it's just natural, you're just there comforting and you gobble down the carbs first when you're really hungry. So it is just a practice, every time, and a reminder, just like a lot of other good things in life that you have to keep in practice. So yoga, as they say, right? What is yoga? It is a practice of good things. It's yoga is in everything. Yoga is in your breathing. You're breathing all the time, right? For example. So this practice, it took time. It took a lot of reminders, and it is always a conscious effort. But I can't say that it was a certain point of time that it became a habit, because even when I was younger, I always wanted it to come into my life, but then I was more indulgent.
Yeah.
But here it became a need, that I needed to be fit now, not just a want or desire. So because it was my need, I made sure that it is more strongly put into my system.
One thing I think is a very good thing to share with our viewers and with everybody that we have is the process of eating, like you explained. Salads, vegetables first, proteins next, carbs last. Yeah. This because it helps balance your blood sugar spike or your insulin spike.
In place one, yes.
Yes. Right? So the way you eat your food also matters. The speed at which you eat your food also matters. It's very important to take some time, enjoy the meal that you're having.
And sometimes people who listen to it, who are not on this path, they kind of get vexed, or they even mock it that, oh my God, who's going to think so much while eating? Yeah. It is true. But when it gets into your system, it is not really so much thinking, and you know what benefits you will get. Yes. And to be honest, as we were discussing, that when you're really 15 or 20 or 25, even for that
whatever
matter,
you put in your body is fine.
Anything, however you put it, it's just all right. Yeah. It just works. But after a certain point, you will see a dip. Yes. And I have noticed in the Indian community and our diaspora that it comes at around 27, 28, 29. That majority of our people, they start feeling that dip in the health. A little bit of tire is coming on your stomach. Your metabolism. It's just because you've really natural. Exploited your body, yes. Right? So I think that dip, either you be aware of it, and if you're not, then it really
comes as a shock.
It becomes like an avalanche.
At a certain age, you can stay out late. You can then wake up the next morning, go to work, and you're absolutely fine. Yeah. But
because we're all aging, we can't deny that.
As you grow older, you reach a certain point where you need X amount of sleep. You need 8 hours of sleep. It's important to get that, because in that sleep is when your body's recovering, your muscles are recovering. Having that rest is very important.
Also, what time you're sleeping.
Yes.
And exactly the same time you should try to sleep every day and wake up at the same time. So these cycles are really important. It is easier to achieve your goals. So for me, in between kids, so after my first son, I got pregnant at the 10th month after he was born. So I was not able to fully achieve my weight loss and health. which was okay because at least I was on the way. And the funny thing was that I was pushing weights around 160 kilos on a leg press. I'm like, why am I panting? And I'm not able to do the headstand. And what's wrong? I'm getting tired. Maybe I'm not eating well. What's wrong? And then one day I came back and fainted. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Are you not eating or something? But then it turned out that I was pregnant. But after the baby again, I went on the same journey. I did my calorie count. I did my right amount of sleep, however I could, and the right amount of exercise, plus the other things. The same thing happened. I got pregnant again the third time, and it became a miscarriage, which is all right. The hormones go through it. This is life. And then again, I went on my health journey. Then my fourth child, which is Amara, which is now my third child, I was pregnant with her, which was a very difficult pregnancy. So I was just able to do breathing yoga in that pregnancy. And I was in the ICU when she was born for 10 days. I was not able to see her for the entire day when she was born. When she came to me, it was, of course, a very cry moment and all that jazz. But even after that, I knew that even if I've had a near-death experience, I have to bounce back. I'm alive. That's the biggest thing. And now that I'm alive, I want to be alive well.
Yeah.
So you get back on your journey, get your boots on, yalla go.
Amazing. I mean, if you don't mind, if we can get into it a little bit, do you mind sharing with us what happened?
Sure, a little bit I can. The reason being, I'm a person who doesn't dwell on a lot of sad or negative thoughts. I just can't because it's kind of like deleted files and then delete the trash folder also in your laptop. So yes, I can tell you that my placenta was frontal and previa both. And it was a very difficult situation where it was almost it had lodged on the scar of the C-section, previous C-section scars. And that's when I realized why C-sections are not very good for health. It is not because of your postpartum recovery, but also for your pregnancies for future. And that was one of the reasons why I got the miscarriage in the third case as well, because the lodging was on the scar. So this is educating for the women who don't know, who might be listening to this, that what happens during your pregnancy is important, but how you deliver is also really important. So try to go on the natural way if possible. And there were 8 bottles of blood that were given to me. So that is explanatory.
Yes.
We got back, fed the baby. Now she's 2.5 and I'm back on track. But I had one thing on mind that yes, I want to breastfeed my child as long as my body is permitting. And I did that with the right amount of nutrition during that. And after I had recovered with all my stitches and body and all that drama which happens in the operation theater, I waited for the 7th month of my breastfeeding because I knew the first 6 months are crucial, according to me. And I wanted to cover that. And once the 7 months were done, I started my diet, which is reducing the calorie count. While I was breastfeeding, I was not really reducing my calorie count which in my head was very important to have the right amount of breast milk supply for my child. And once I recovered from my postpartum C-section and all that, I got back into the gym. I even went for a detox for 10 days to a place in India where they really cleanse your system of all the toxins because I was on insane amount of antibiotics when I was in the ICU and other drugs. So I think that was very important to flush out. That helped my liver and all the other systems to come back.
Recover.
Because, you don't realize while you're in your regular life that all these toxins that are getting accumulated in your body, that what impact they have. Yeah. And not just postpartum, in general as well, weight loss is more difficult when you have toxins in your body. Yeah. So I knew that, and I knew that after my third child, I want to flush out everything. So we did that cycle, and then I came back again. And then I kept with my gym and the right calories and the right amount of sleep and water and the cycle. And because we knew what the formula is, you just have to apply it. And here I am today.
Just taking off of what we discussed about C-sections, there is a rising rate right now, especially in India, where people are going for optional C-sections. Now, there is, yes, when a C-section is required, when it is medically necessary, and when it is important to have one because the mother or the baby's life is at risk, or simply put, a normal delivery is not possible, not medically advised, right? But there's also a trend that's going up where people are opting for this, right? What are the risks you've experienced?
So coming from a family of 35 and now 36 doctors, I think I have a little bit of general knowledge as well. And one of the very big pediatric and gynecology hospital is owned by my brother. So we do discuss these things a lot and the statistics. And because we are based in UAE, there are a lot of things which we discuss here in health sector. So C-section and natural vaginal delivery, these are the two ways where we deliver, right? But as you say, there are some indications that you have to go through C-section, which is inevitable.
Yes.
But optional, women, I believe, again, when you said that we don't know how strong we are, just that little part where you have to go through the delivery pains, if you go through that, you see that the reward is way better.
Yes.
And not that C-section pain is any less, so it's just something that you're really torturing your body for, so that's number one. But on the other side, it is something I don't really feel happy about it, but a lot of medical practitioners promote it because it is bigger amount of money that they earn out of it. But the second thing, it is just faster and easier. Imagine having a woman who's having a 16, 18 hours of pain when they're having a, delivery contraction. And or here, you just go switch on some music in the operation theater and just cut the baby, and 30 minutes that baby is out and stitched.
Yeah.
So, and imagine in a day how many C-sections you can do and how much money you can earn and less headache. So I think that commercialization is not very, very comforting for me as a thought, but it's there. And it is happening. On the other side, I want to talk to my friends, to the people, to any women around, or even husbands for that matter, because it's
Joint
a
decision. Yes.
right? So it's really important to know that it is not good for your health. So my third one, which was a miscarriage, it happened because the lodging of the egg happened on the scar.
Okay.
And
that's not
it just
sustainable.
doesn't sustain. The third one also, it was the Amara, my daughter, she was also very close to the scar. And at one point, the doctor even considered maybe we have to remove it because if we keep the baby, I might lose my life. So it was such a scary situation. So, and the reason was because my earlier two cases were C-sections. So, I mean, we need to see what are the pros and cons. Of course, we cannot rule out completely the C-section, but it also saves lives.
Like you mentioned, it is necessary sometimes. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, you can't go against medical advice. I mean, when you need to save your own life.
Yeah, at the same time, I really, really recommend that women, once they go through either style of delivery, they should really take care of themselves, give themselves that time, postpartum, that 45 days or 40 days of rest period, which has been coming for ages, in all the parts of the world. It is real because when the placenta goes away from your stomach, it is almost like a dinner plate size of wound in your stomach, inside your uterus. So you really need to give yourself some time to heal. Plus your hormones and plus your requirements, and you're going through so much. Why do we need to torture ourselves? Why do we need to get back and run and not do anything? A lot of women find it not cool to do things which are postpartum massages and these things. I've met girls like this. So it's important sometimes to go back to your traditions and practice them.
It is very important to have those things. There are some things that you don't want to follow, I'm sure, but it's all based in some kind of scientific fact, right?
I believe it is important to take an informed and educated decision. That's all that's required.
Correct. There is also a discussion about how much should you eat when you're breastfeeding, right?
Oh, the fun thing, eat for two.
Eat for two. Yeah, eat for two when you're pregnant or when you're breastfeeding. But the fact is, that's not what you require. There is a limited number of calories, yes, that you do consume additionally. But I think the number is between 300 to 400 calories, actually.
In the first 2 trimesters, if the doctor is recommending, rightfully so, you can increase maybe 100 to 200. But to be honest, it is actually recommended only in the last trimester where your daily calorie requirement increases, but that's up to 200 to 250 kcal per day. So you're not really required to eat for 2. You can have a little bit of more fun food because you want to try, or maybe you're taking a break from all your...
Correct, or maybe you have a craving because... Everybody
Sometimes,
understands
yes, they
those
do.
pregnancy cravings.
And they're real.
They come on strong.
Yeah, they're
and
real.
Hard.
But, one has to keep in mind again that if you really start eating the way, sometimes some people say that eat for 2, then it can actually lead to your gestational diabetes or preeclampsia or situations like that, which could lead to complications. So it is really important to keep your health in mind.
Eating for two is not helping anyone. It's not helping you, it's not helping your baby either. But eating healthy and eating right actually benefits the baby in a lot of ways. Putting the right kind of nutrition, giving the right kind, having your omega-3 fatty acids, having enough fiber, having the right vitamins in your body.
Yes, folic acid rich
Folic
food, it
acid
is
rich
really
food,
amazing.
yes,
Yeah.
helps with their brain development. It's all the right thing to do. I've seen cases where people have eaten quite a bit but have had very low birth weight babies.
Because the fat has gone to the body
Correct.
of the mom, not the baby. And honestly, no matter how much you eat, the baby is not going to be 7, 8, 10 kilos when they take birth. It's only going to be the right baby size. That's how God has designed it in at least 40 gestational weeks, right? So no matter how much you eat. On the other hand, as you say, sometimes the baby birth weight is lesser if you're not eating the right way. So yeah, you got to just be aware and conscious of the right things, right?
What are some of the foods that you ate to supplement your breastfeeding?
So one thing for sure, even before I delivered, I stopped eating anything which was gassy. I really wanted to take precautions because I did not want a colicky baby. And I was thinking maybe while the baby is in my tummy, it might go into it. So I did have certain, which I don't, not confirmed myths in my head. So I did take a little precaution before I delivered. There is like gobi, these things do.
Cabbage,
right?
or,
Those
yeah,
things,
any
you
of
don't
those.
have those things. But after delivery, I had what you call bottle gourd. That's something really nice. Yeah. And spinach. But I made sure that I don't have raw vegetables so much because I felt like that would take longer in my stomach to digest. So I either tried them to be steamed or sauteed. I love Indian food. So I have good variety of less masala Indian food because it's just food for soul. So I used to ask my cook to prepare food which has those simple things which are not very heavy, but at the same time nutritious rich. So yeah, I did have a lot of those laddus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's in those laddus? Do you know? Do you have any idea what
So
these
my
laddus?
mom and my mother-in-law, they both stuffed me with a lot of laddus, which I used to keep on my side because I couldn't eat all of it. And I don't know if it happens with other women, but I did feel really hungry while breastfeeding.
Yes, 100%.
So I think one of the reasons because this tummy was really full with the baby, and when the baby is gone, there is some void inside and your body is confused. One reason. And the second, yes, you're feeding, so that consumes a lot of calories. So I was not really conscious in the first 4-5 months. Okay, and I did not really reduce my calories in that time. So I used to have one laddu in the morning, for example. I think it's methi laddu also, and there is also the other one which has gond in it, and all the different types of dry fruits. And mom also put some atta and some ghee and all those things, some saffron, which is great as nutrition. And a lot of omegas and a lot of things which come in the dry fruits. I know it's very heavy, so I made sure that I have it during the morning so that I have the day to digest it. It's not that I'm gonna be going to sleep and just having it because I know that it's gonna really sit in my stomach. So I tried to manage with the timings during the breastfeeding time. I gained a lot of weight during breastfeeding because of those reasons. I took that little bit of risk because I knew that I'm going to get back to my gym and calorie intake control later on. But I enjoyed that thoroughly.
Yes, it's very important to enjoy that phase. A lot of people say newborn phase is difficult. Yes,
It is.
It's challenging, yes. But I have found the toddler phase to be more challenging.
They say the terrible 2s and 3s.
Yes, definitely.
Man, every phase is difficult, but it comes with its own beauty.
Yes, it does. It really does. I do enjoy the questions and, all of the things that they can come up with. But I feel like a newborn phase might be challenging for mothers or because there's two parts happening. One, your body is recovering and you have a newborn to take care of who needs your attention and help. So yes, maybe in
and
some
we
way.
always say that it's the mothers who go through it. I want to say something about the fathers here as well. They do not go through the pregnancy themselves, but most of them, they are compassionate towards their wives during the pregnancy. And even after, they go through the aftermath,
Yes.
all the hormone dramas. And believe me, they do not understand because they don't go through it, but they empathize and they take care and they help the mothers it's something that I would say that it should be applauded to the ones who actually help their wives and, the mom of their kids. Also, for example, me and my husband, we tried that, when our first baby was born, that he wanted to sleep with the baby in the room. So we tried for a few days and weeks, we tried, and it really started affecting his work. So I had taken a longer maternity leave, but he was not able to afford that. And then he had to get back to work, and he was enjoying the whole new fatherhood as well. But at one point, I pushed him out of the room. And I said, you have to go sleep into the other room because you need your sleep. You don't need to go through this. Yeah. And I'm not going to hold you that why didn't you sleep with the baby, because this is not required by you. So I think that we should applaud the fathers also at their, little effort that they do, because they are not going through all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still they try to empathize. And trust me, if you go back to the time when we did not have babies, we wouldn't have known what mothers go through, right? So if you think in their shoes that how they're thinking, so this is what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So I think for the moms and fathers both, I think it's something good that the newborn phase is difficult, yes. But yes, it comes with its own beauty, and it's a journey that they do.
And it's amazing how I think this is happening more with our generation. Our husbands are more present as fathers. Comparatively, yes, definitely. My husband was there with me in the delivery room for both the children, and he actually stayed in the hospital with me overnight. This is something that we asked for. We told our family that this is what we want to do, because this is going to be the first day our kids are on this planet, and we'd rather just be us,
Have you heard about sympathy weight gain?
Yes, I have.
It's something very interesting, and I like it. While I was gaining weight, Adil was also gaining weight. I don't know if it was really sympathy gaining or it was just his indulgence along with me. But yes, it happened. And while I was working on myself postpartum, it also influenced my husband, and we all get back on track in that way. I think that sympathy gain and the loss is all together a lot of times.
It is nice when you can do it together, right? When you can get on this journey, and when you have the same goals.
You infect each other with passion, right?
Yes.
If it is something for the good, you infect each other, or try the best way how you can inspire each other.
I have these moments where, I'll try a new routine, or I'll try something different, and I'll come and tell my husband about it. And he's actually the one who sort of motivates me more towards, strength training and things like that. He'll say, okay, how much did you lift today? And what did we do? And these are the kind of discussions we have. It's kind of nice to have someone to sort of feed off of that energy with you.
And it's a very fun discussion, because I don't know if you felt it, but there comes a point in life where there are no new things happening. So then you have to find and create those things. So if you're healthy and active, you have so many things to discuss. And if both of you are really on the same track, it's more fun because you're inspired. Or if you're not, you try to pull each other on the right track. Along with this, what I like is, as women, we are the backbones. So if we are not healthy, our family will not be healthy. So if we are practicing good, we will cook or create that thing on our menu in the home, and that is what the others will eat. There'll be a certain times that the other person might ask for something unhealthy.
Yes.
But after a point, they will also get used to it. So it's something in our hands and our jurisdiction, and I think I like to practice that.
Moving on, we're going to play a little game of fact or fiction with Sana Sajan. Of course, we're just discussing our personal beliefs. None of us are medical professionals. I
am a medical professional, but I'm not a gynecologist or a postpartum specialist, but I'm sharing what is best in my knowledge.
Perfect. Amazing. Exercising during pregnancy, is it good or bad?
First, you must consult your doctor, because that's the most important thing. But a little exercise is very good during pregnancy, because it helps not only your hormones and your body to get into the right place, but it also gives the best to your kid as well, because you're getting the best of oxygen, you're getting the best of nutrition. So it's amazing.
I've also heard that whatever you did before you got pregnant, so supposedly you did certain exercises before you got pregnant, it is generally safe to continue unless otherwise mentioned or specified by your doctor.
See, your body has a muscle memory. So whatever exercise in general you do, your muscles will have that memory for sure. And this is something that I used for my advantage. It helped me bounce back easier and faster, because I've always been in the gym. So that helped my muscles to come back, because they remembered that, yes, this is where we were earlier. So yes, it helps.
Next question. Should pregnant women avoid travel?
Unless asked by the doctor, not required. No, I don't think so because traveling is amazing. In fact, I encourage women to travel at least in the second trimester where it is safe because that's the fun period.
Yeah.
You can enjoy your pregnancy as well because pregnancy is not a jail or it is not something as a misery on you. It's something so beautiful. You gotta enjoy. If you want to travel, you should travel. Have maybe plan a baby moon with your husband.
You just take some certain steps, like if you're going on a long flight, make sure to move around, get up, move your
Yes.
feet.
Also, don't go to places where you might get certain kind of diseases, like I remember when I was pregnant
Zika.
with the Zika virus, or there are a lot of things related to that CC fly, there's sleeping sickness. So you can avoid certain places which might be risky.
Which you should avoid
Which
anyway.
you should avoid anyway, but especially during pregnancy. But otherwise, I think traveling is amazing.
It's said that it's generally safe to consume about 1 or 2 cups of coffee maximum during pregnancy. What are your thoughts on this one?
See, I'm not a caffeine consumer. So whatever I say, I cannot empathize with the coffee addicts. And a lot of my friends who are addicted to coffee, they hate me for this. But yes, you should limit your caffeine consumption, be it coffee or tea or any other form during pregnancy, because it can have bad effect on you.
Yeah, it's linked with lower birth weight.
Not only lower birth weight, it can also lead to preeclampsia, which is hypertension during
During pregnancy.
pregnancy, which is something you don't want.
Now, coloring your hair and cosmetics during pregnancy. A lot of people say you shouldn't be coloring your hair when you're pregnant. Why do you think this is?
There are 2 point of views on this. One, if you really want to feel that you want to color your hair and you want to go through it, come on, nobody should stop you from, doing what you like to do. And if you really feel like that it will make you feel better, you should go ahead and do it. But me as a person, I don't like to put chemicals on my body in general as much as I can avoid. Just that, I prefer not to put those things on my body while I'm pregnant or breastfeeding because it's at the end of the day chemicals.
In the past, I think the products, the chemicals that came in, hair colorants, etc., were different and they were not so regulated. Modern products are a little different, but yes, it's better to be safe than sorry. Why is papaya considered bad or unsafe for pregnant women?
It could be myth and it could be a fact. So people say that papaya can cause difficulty in organogenesis, which is basically a formation of organs in a fetus. Because we know that papain and it contains certain chemicals. It causes uterine contraction. It can also cause premature softening of the cervix. These are the two physiological medical things. And they also say because it is something as a meat tenderizer, it could be a myth, but it is considered the same way for fetus as well. So it's not really recommended to have it. Some people say very ripe papaya is very good and rich in its nutrition, but I would rather avoid it. Yeah. There are other things in life to have as well.
Papain or latex, which produce the enzyme papain, is present in raw papaya. Correct. Or semi-raw papaya. Yes. It is generally safe to have very ripe papaya. If you're really craving papaya and that's what you like, then I think it's safe to consume, but in limited quantities and limited amounts.
Everything has to be done in general in moderation anyway. I always prefer life in moderation is healthier and safer. Having said that, I would not recommend people to have papaya. There you can have those nutrition from other things maybe.
Fact or fiction? Heartburn during pregnancy means you will have a baby with a full head of hair.
Oh, this is so funny though, right? It sounds funny, but I was talking to my doctors that why is this linked? So they were saying that at, let's say, around 4 months of age is where your baby starts getting hair on their head or maybe those little fur. And that's the time which coincides with really bad heartburn. So it is one of those things. It's not that heartburn will lead to hair. It is just that it's a symptom of that time period.
I think it is that the same hormone that your body produces that relaxes your esophageal sphincter, that causes the heartburn, that same hormone is responsible for hair growth or hair follicle growth in babies.
No. I don't think so. What I know, as per my knowledge and my doctors educated me on this, it's just that time is very coinciding. And that's the time where the baby is getting hair. And it's not that hormone is related. Not that I know of.
Okay. All right. Now, let's discuss, I think, a burning question with everybody, right? Breastfeeding versus bottle feeding. Breast is best, of course, definitely. But what if you aren't able to feed your baby enough?
This is a very long topic of discussion. I think we should have another podcast on it, but I will try to put it together in small portion. One, yes, breast milk is the best milk for your child. That's how God has created us, and not just us, all the mammals. Also, our body will produce the amount of milk which is required by the baby. So once your baby is on your chest and suckling, that's the time the amount of suckling that baby will do, its stomach is just really small. So just maybe like a cherry. Yeah. So that much milk we are producing. So we should not really worry about it, in at least in the initial days, because the body is producing most of the times. We will come to the cases where it's not, but most of the times it is producing. And also with time and with the right sleep, with the right amount of water, your breast milk, it increases, and also the suckling of the child, it stimulates that. So it is important to go through that cycle and keep stimulating your body to produce more, because it is how the cycle of the body is. That's number one. Having said that, if you're not able to produce milk for certain reasons, there are a lot of times it happens with certain women, or you feel that you're not able to produce enough, okay, if not zero, if it's not enough, there you can use supplement milk, which is powder milk, and you can give it to your baby. I prefer not to give fresh cow milk initially, because it's just too heavy, I think, for the child. So I prefer, if maybe you can give one bottle, a small bottle during the day to the child. It helps in two things: that the child gets used to the bottle, because most of us women, we are working, or we want to get back to work, or at least we want to be a little bit independent, or if we want to pump and give the milk with a bottle again, if not direct breastfeeding, or sometimes you want to do mixed feeding, you can use a bottle. So all of these things together, sometimes bottle feed helps, and the child gets used to it as well. So it is good to bring it in practice sometimes, but it is definitely up to each mother and their own decision.
How do you know that it's not enough? I think a lot of new mothers are thinking the same thing. When you start breastfeeding your child, how do you know that are they getting enough nutrition? I don't know if they're being fed enough.
See, as per the knowledge that I have, once you've taken the right amount of sleep and the water intake in your body, and if you've eaten well during your breastfeeding cycle, initial days, definitely there is very little amount, because that is what the
That's
child
your
requires.
colostrum. That's what you're getting
And that's
initially.
what the child requires, and your body will stimulate and make it. And it is also cluster feeding initially. So whenever the baby is hungry, you give the baby, then the baby body will produce like really
What they need.
as it is needed. It's just so beautiful how God has created our body. With time, you will see if the baby is really hungry and you're not able to produce, and if you're not able to stimulate even with extra pump. If sometimes the baby is not able to do that stimulation, you can use a pump to make your body create more milk. But if still it is not happening and you feel that the baby is still hungry, you can just give a supplement milk.
There's one very important thing to know, that it's very much a demand and supply thing, right? So the more there is a demand, the more your body will register that it needs to produce more milk, and,
It's
and
magical.
that'll happen. It is magical. It's amazing. Another really cool thing that I've heard about is that when your baby breastfeeds, your body gets signals of what nutrients it needs.
This is true. For example, if my child is having some viral infection or something, my body creates those antibodies with my breast milk, and my child gets that through the breast milk. Correct. We are just miraculous. God has just created this miracle in our body, and it's just beautiful.
That is truly amazing. I remember when I was breastfeeding my child, and I got pretty sick. I had a very high temperature. I had a cold, etc., etc. My question was, should I be breastfeeding my child because I'm sick? I have a fever, etc.
You should continue.
You should continue. My doctor said this is exactly what your baby needs right now is your breast milk, because you're giving it the antibodies and you're giving it the medicine it needs so that the baby will not fall sick. And it's really amazing that we can do that for our child.
And with age as well, the production and quality and the composition of milk also changes. So 1 month old, 2 months old, 6 months old, with age also the milk changes. So that's how body creates and helps with the child. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you face this particular situation, but my first would not stop breastfeeding. I found out I was pregnant with my second one as well. And you know how it feels initially. It's excruciating when they want to breastfeed and you're in your first trimester. But this is when I found out, and one day she just stopped. I was about 3 months pregnant.
Yeah, so
by
that's what
this time,
happens. Do you know
and
that
she
the
just
children
stopped.
can feel it?
Yes,
Yeah.
apparently the taste of the breast milk changes and they don't want it anymore because it's not appealing to them
Correct,
anymore.
yes.
So this is your body telling
It's a
the
natural
first one,
mechanism.
your turn's up.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone else is
A few
needing
of
this
my friends
nutrition.
were also facing something similar. Not that they were pregnant with the second one, but it was very hard for them to detach their child physically. And it was just comforting for the child to be just latched to them. And yes, it was a difficult situation, but they all managed.
Yeah. So the last time when we were at the launch of CurryFit, you were there with us, right? And we touched upon some of the topics that you discussed, like ab separation and how
Diastasis, yes.
diastasis recti, yeah,
Or
and how-
permanently pregnant body.
yes, permanently pregnant body. Yes, there is a lot of debate on the natural route versus getting help to fix this situation. When do you know that natural is not going to help you and you need medical intervention?
So, body image is something that we anyway torture ourselves with, and especially women, we most of the times have a negative self image. In not just body, ourselves as well. We don't think really highly of ourselves. We are very critical. And you're all going through the baby thing and nothing fits you during the pregnancy and then post as well during breastfeeding. You're gaining weight. A lot of women gain weight during that time. So, what happens in this? That you need to just know and have that confidence in yourself. Really, I would say one thing is subjective. One thing is, yes, you've created a human being. Yeah. This is really a miracle. And it sounds very like, please don't give me this. But it's true. You've created a human being, and it is such a beautiful phenomena. Rather than enjoying that scene and that journey, you start thinking more about yourself and your body and how you're looking. I would say that you should know that at certain point you will start working on your body and you give your best to that. But when that time comes, that's when you think about it. Right now, you have this beautiful baby in your hands and you should enjoy that journey and not negatively think about yourself. Yeah. This is number one. Second, situations where it is not just fat gain on the body, but also diastasis recti, which is a very common thing. How do you know that you need medical intervention? There are situations when it goes back to its normal, body has its ways. Some cases you can fix it with physiotherapy and good exercises, the correct exercises, and not spoil it with the wrong exercises.
Like ab crunches, for example.
Or there are a lot of exercises with wrong fitness trainers make
and wrong
you do
posture.
Wrong posture, and sometimes going with the wrong fitness trainer, they can give you the wrong exercises. So you should choose the right people who are experts in that. Also nutrition and intra-abdominal fat and all those factors. Once you've ruled out and you really know that this is medically a very big diastasis, which is really far apart, you need to meet the doctor, and you can go through a small surgical intervention, which can be just the fixing of the diastasis, or you can go through a tummy tuck, which is really helpful in certain cases because your abdomen is something you need in all exercises, which is called core, right? And if your core is not in the right place, it will adapt with time, but you will not be able to get the best out of your workouts. Yeah. So I recommend in certain cases, you should go through it. It is there and it is a great procedure, which
if it is
you can do. Yes. Dubai has a lot of such places and they're big experts on diastasis. If you can get it fixed, you can get the best results, and it is really helpful.
So there's a lot of stigma women are facing around like the mommy makeover, right? It should be a personal choice, shouldn't it?
It is.
In terms of
100%.
what they want to do.
When you're going to do a facial, when you're going to brush your teeth, when you're going to make your eyebrows or blow dry your hair, it is your personal choice, right?
Yeah.
And why anybody should think of what the other person is going to think when it is something for your benefit? I'm to the extent an advocate that even if it is purely for aesthetic motives, do it. It is your life. It is your health. You take your decision. It is something you will do with a medical professional who is qualified to do it, and it is for your good. And you're not doing something to torture yourself or make yourself worse. It is something for your good. Yeah. So I actually recommend people, if it is required, go ahead.
That's great. A lot of people need to hear this. It's something very important that we as women encourage each other, because I see So many people shaming other women, trolling other women, saying, "Oh, why did you need to do this? And why
Oh,
do you need
hater
to?"
will be
Haters will
haters.
be haters, right?
If you do it, you're bad. If you don't do it, you're bad. If you're out of shape, they will be like, oh, why are you out of shape? Oh, you've lost all the weight, but you still look pregnant. Come on, people will still talk. But what is good for you, it's up to you to decide.
Sana, I think is a very important topic that we have to discuss. Parents, in-laws, etc., forcing women to eat more and gain weight because they feel like it directly impacts how healthy or how fluffy and how well-rounded the baby will be once it is born.
I want to tell the parents, stop asking mums to gain weight. If your mum is going to be fat, it doesn't mean the baby is going to be fat too. And what do you even want? She's going to lose her life if she gains weight. Please.
And that is very true. Some of the side effects of excess weight gain, gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, cholesterol, so many things.
Honestly, a lot of times it happens when you gain weight during pregnancy, it doesn't really go to the baby because baby sometimes are also born underweight.
Yes.
So do you really want all of that so-called love to negatively affect your child? No.
There is also a link between a severe weight gain or excess weight gain and how long your labor is going to go or how difficult your labor is going to be, right? Because your body is going to go through so much strain during labor and delivery. You need to be in the best shape of your life, actually, rather than the worst.
Apart from this, I just want to say nobody can tell a woman gain weight or lose weight. It's up to a woman to decide.
Sana, another thing I wanted to talk about it. There is a distinction between healthy and heavy or fat. There is a distinction between this, right? So there are a lot of people who their bone structure is such that they are a little bit bigger in bone structure, but they have a very good workout routine. They eat well. They stay consistent. Or there are people who are skinny, don't have any kind of routine, don't have anything going on, but their body fat percentage is much higher, right? How do we make this distinction and how do we expose people to this information that it's not only on the appearance, but it's also on your habits and your routine on the inside?
I would say in such a case, the person who is doing everything right will live a longer and a better life. So what my focus always is about quality of life. Even if you live 4 days or 4 years or 40 years, it is about the quality of life. And if you're practicing everything well, so it doesn't matter what size you are, if you're doing the right thing in your food, if you're exercising, if you're sleeping well, the right amount of water and nutritions you're taking, I think that is the perfect way to live life. And you should not be so worried about your shape then, because you know you're doing everything right. To be honest, if you do that consistently, it does affect your body in a positive way, and you will see that there will be changes in your body in the longer run. On the other hand, there are skinny fat people who eat all kind of junk and they're really skinny, but that does not last for a long time in first place. And even if it does, their quality of life will be hampered in the long run. Because even those skinny people, they have high cholesterol and they have diabetes.
Very high chance of diabetes.
Very
yes.
high chances of diabetes. And in the long run, their internal organs, they have worse effect because they're not really leading a healthy life. So it is not about the shape and size that you're in, but about the practices.
Yes. Moving on, Sana. A lot of people get demotivated by this one particular thing. They check their weight every week. They see either the scale is not moving at all or moving very slowly, but they've been doing everything they possibly can to lose weight. They've been working out, they've been eating right, they've been eating healthy. How do you stay consistent with this constant demotivation that you see on the scale?
You should keep your eyes on target, which is you being fit and fabulous. But in a tactical way, if I have to explain, there you have to know that it is not just the weight variation, which is what you've gained. It is not that you should only lose weight in this time period of practicing the good things that you're trying to do towards the weight loss journey or towards the fitness journey. My belief is that if you're drinking water, if you're sleeping well, if you're exercising, if you're eating well over a prolonged period of time, your body is getting healthier and fitter.
And you're gaining muscle.
You're not only gaining muscle, you're getting better sleep, you're feeling less brain fog, you will be more efficient, you will be happier, your internal organs will be working better. All of these things together are all gains and benefits. And in the longer run, when you continue, these all reflect on the weight scale as well.
Also, people might not see such great results on your weighing scale immediately, but you'll start noticing clothes fit better.
Yeah, your skin is glowing, your hair is better.
Your
Yeah.
hair is better, you feel better, you're more energized. I think it's that feeling that you need to count on to stay consistent.
In first place. But again, muscle is denser than fat. So you will be shrinking in a lot of cases, but maybe it is not showing on the scale because you're gaining muscle and losing fat.
Thank you so much, Sana, for hosting us here today. We've had some really great conversation. We've talked about postpartum fitness, a mother's journey through how to stay motivated, and we've talked about your personal journey as well. We've learned a lot from you today. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for joining. Stay fit and fabulous.